And let me show you a different approach in addition to this one, where instead of defining a global geometry outline, so I could now maybe select this arc and modify it, and it would update all four dials, because you see basically four different objects, but for alias, they are all connected to each other. The top surface of each dial is actually part of one and the same surface. We just only visually cut out the space in between. And I would like now to have an approach where I only have one dial and then interactively I duplicate it. So here is my sketch, and I have my two outer rings. I drew in a center line for me so I can see the rotation center point, and I have, for example, here my arc. Now this arc I'm going to copy and paste, rotate it 45 degrees to the other side. So I type in 45, 0, 0 and press enter. And then it's time to create the surfaces. And for this I can use the bi-rail, two lines, for example. And then I say, those are my generation curves. Those are my two rail curves. And I'm good. And I have to bring over two of those lines. Now those lines, for example, will be used to create my draft surfaces. So I can select those two lines, go into a side view, go to the draft surface. I have 5 millimeters. That is correct. And then I have to flip the orientation and next. And then I can click on the railed surface. So I don't select again the ring, but just sample the edge from the surface I created, and with 2 millimeter create an extrusion so all those surfaces end exactly at the same vertical position. And then I could go ahead, go to surface edit, intersect, make a selection through my 3 center surfaces, and then press intersect, and then click on those 2 surfaces. So it creates my surfaces for me, the intersection lines. And then I can go ahead and step by step trim everything the way I need it. Okay, so that is good. And then we have to do our edge rounding. And build. Okay, so this way you can see, instead of building the other 3, I only use a geometry I created to only build one element. And now, having basically the geometry for this one finished, we can select it and, for example, say copy and paste. And then I have another layer here, array, and I assign it. And then on this layer, I'm going to select my surfaces. Because I duplicated it, it also copied, as you can see, the construction history. Now this one I can, for example, to speed up alias, delete the construction history, click delete, go into the back view, then I say group it together. I have to reset my pivot point to the center here using the pivot tool. And then this object selected, I can go to edit and duplicate object. And I have already one, so I only want 3 further elements to be added to it. And there should be instances or copy. And then because I set my pivot point, I can leave it at X, Y, and Z space, have rotation typed in 90, click go. And then there are now my other 3 missing objects. So as you can see, I just built one and just then made an instance. I could, of course, have selected this object, hit copy in space, and then type in the rotation value for each one. And basically the duplicate and object did it actually just for me. And that's basically the way how then you could create one parametric object. And when that is okay, and you know you only need an array of those, simply duplicate it, bake it, and then apply the array, because in case we would need to change something, we could go back to here, change it, and then we only would have to repeat a copy and paste, bake, and array command, which is not really a lot of work, but will actually speed up alias, because those are baked objects, and alias does not have to calculate the construction history for those parts, and thus is not spending CPU power on it.